Hey everybody, happy Friday. This is January 23rd of 2026. This is Winter Storm Update number 3. As you may have heard, we've been upgraded to an ice storm warning across the entire area in and around Charlotte. And I believe this is the first time in over 20 years that the city's been under an ice storm warning. So what we're about to experience this weekend is a very rare event. You can see it finally starting to take shape. We've been talking about it for days, but there's a big area of low pressure. You can kind of see the clouds swirling out here across the southern Pacific. This is throwing a whole ton of moisture into the central United States. You see all the clouds streaming across Texas and Oklahoma. And if I look at the radar here, you can see rain is already breaking out across much of this area. The big story for the central states is going to start tonight into tomorrow. They're going to get all the snow, sleet, and freezing rain. And then this whole slug of moisture is moving eastward, and it's going to arrive later in the day tomorrow. So I want to talk just briefly about what's going on, what we're looking at here. So let's look at a national view first. So again, I explained this briefly the last time, so I'm going to do it one more time. What's going on here is if I get my drawing tool, I'll pick blue since it's cold. High pressure is right here. Actually, that doesn't show up too well, so we'll go back to purple, trusty purple. High pressure is sitting right here. That's just a big block of cold air. The temperatures up in here, like across northern Minnesota, the Dakotas, Canada, it's like minus 30 degrees. It's super cold. And the flow around high pressure is like this. It's clockwise. And what this does is because the Appalachian Mountains, or for my southern friends, Appalachian Mountains are right here, this air runs into the mountains, gets blocked, and it has to go somewhere, so it goes southward like this. So that's why we get locked in this very cold air here in the Carolinas. This is called cold air damming. And at the same time, low pressure forms here, and it flows counterclockwise, and it starts throwing moisture up and over top of this cold air. So at the ground level where we are, cold air is coming in from the north. But above us, warm air is coming in from the south. So you get this kind of crisscrossing of the winds, and thus you get all the freezing precipitation that we're about to see. So if I step this forward through time, just to give you a timing sense, you can see snow is broken out across kind of the central states with patches of freezing rain and sleet and heavy rain across the Gulf Coast. So time-wise here, this is around 5, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow. You can see the model's hinting at some light snow or some light sleet breaking out across western North Carolina. So don't be surprised if 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon we start seeing some reports of some light snow, or you see some snowflakes out there. That'll probably be the only snow we see during the system, because it's going to quickly change to sleet and eventually freezing rain. And you can see this model has sleet and freezing rain breaking out across much of the state by 10 p.m. This is overnight. It gets heavier by 1 in the morning. This is like 4 in the morning, and this is the time you wake up on Sunday morning. This is like 7, 8 in the morning, and you see freezing rain continues through the lunch hour. It lightens up a little bit in the afternoon before the big wave of rain comes later on in the day. So you can see freezing rain for hours. So that's going to be one of the big stories, right? Once the freezing rain and sleet starts sometime after dinner tomorrow night, the steady stuff, it's going to be continuous for over 24 hours of sleet and freezing rain at varying intensities, and I'll show you that in the high resolution model. So this is one of our high resolution models. So you'll see we can use these when events get closer. And if I step this forward, you'll see it's kind of like when you have your TV, you have a kind of HD, like more pixels, you can see more. It's kind of similar to that. When you look at this is about the time tomorrow. This is like 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 in the evening. You see some patchy light snow, some sleet breaking out across western and northern North Carolina, especially the northern part of the state. So again, don't be surprised if you see a few snowflakes tomorrow. But notice that quickly changes into these pinks and oranges. This represents sleet and freezing rain. If I keep stepping this forward, this is the overnight. So this is like 2, 3 in the morning. And if I click on this, again, to explain what's going on here, if I draw a line, I'll try to draw it carefully here. This is the freezing line. So what you're looking at is this is up and down the atmosphere. So this is up, and we're down here. This is the ground. This is us. So it's 23 degrees at the ground at like 4 in the morning here in Charlotte. Up here in the atmosphere, this is all snow, because this pink line that I drew, that's the difference between below freezing temperatures and above freezing temperatures. So here comes my snowflake. I'll draw my snowflake like this. It falls, and once it crosses this pink line, it melts because now it's above freezing. In fact, this temperature, it climbs way over here. This is almost 50 degrees Fahrenheit right there. So all that snow melts. It's gone. All the snow is gone. Then it continues to fall, and notice it crosses back below freezing right here. So that means those raindrops are falling into air that's like 23 degrees where we are at the ground. If this is deep enough, so if this section right here is deep enough, it's able to refreeze and form sleet. If it's too shallow, the rain doesn't have enough time, and we get freezing rain. So it's liquid when it gets to the ground, and then it freezes. And that's the worst type of precipitation. And it's looking to me, these layers are very, very shallow. It's looking like freezing rain is more going to be the precipitation type, especially the later on we go. So it might start off as sleet for a few hours, but I do think it's going to transition to mostly freezing rain as we go through the event. So now this is Sunday morning, like 9, 10 in the morning, and you see again pockets of light freezing rain. And you might think, oh, it's really light. That might not be so bad. Actually, it's actually much worse. When you get really heavy freezing rain, if it's raining really hard, it kind of rolls off of everything and doesn't freeze very well. It's not that effective. But when you get really light mist and drizzle, which is what this looks like, it's able to encircle branches, it's able to encircle power lines, and it's able to freeze better and more efficiently. So you actually get more ice accumulation if you just get a steady, light, or drizzly kind of freezing rain. That's actually the worst type you can get. Think about it this way. If you took like a can of like Lysol spray or something like that, and you went up to your wall, and it was like point blank right next to it, and you sprayed it, that cleaner's just going to run down the wall. But if you stand far away and you spray it, it's going to spray all over the wall, and it's all just going to stick there. That would be light. So when it's really light, it spreads out, and it's able to freeze really efficiently, is how that works. And this continues on throughout much of the day on Sunday. Our temperatures, if I click here on Charlotte, you can see what our surface temperature is. So it's only 25 degrees still, and it's still raining as we move through the day. And then most of the models have a very big line of heavy precipitation moving through here sometime in the late day on Sunday around 6, 7, 8 p.m. And you can see it would not surprise me if there was some thunder and lightning with this. You can see there's bright yellows and oranges. This is a convective line, which would be kind of crazy. Now, some of the models have us above freezing at this point. It's close. It's like 30, 31, 32 degrees. So depending on which model you look at, it's going to be close. This particular model has us staying below freezing, and this would all fall as freezing rain before it exits out late Monday, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. Then the big story, the other big story with this, whoops, if I step this forward, is once this system moves out, there's going to be all of this cold air that's going to come rushing in on the backside of it. So everything that falls Saturday night, Sunday into Monday is going to be with us for days. In fact, Monday night's temperature into Tuesday morning is supposed to drop down to around 3 to 5 degrees in Charlotte, which will be the coldest we've seen in many years. So anything on the ground, anything in the trees is going to stay frozen for quite a bit of time, and that's going to be a big story. So how much freezing rain? That's the big question. This is an ensemble, so this is a group of models. This is the European ensemble. It's been steadfast. It has shown this for many different days. Now, this is not the total amount. This is how much would fall as freezing rain. So you see in Charlotte, you're looking at 0.6 to 1.6. But realistically, only about half of that actually can stick to trees and branches and things like that. So that's like 0.3 to 0.8. And you see this corridor has been very consistent in the last two videos I made. Right along the 85 corridor, much of the foothills in the Piedmont of North Carolina is kind of in the gun. This is what the National Weather Service is forecasting out of Greenville-Spartanburg. Again, they are our local experts, and they forecast every single day, not just like me whenever it's like severe weather. And you can see they've actually increased their ice totals because their belief is that the sleet's going to be less. I tend to agree. I think there's going to be more freezing rain. I think the cold air is really shallow. And you can see the totals here, 0.5 to 0.75, 0.75 to upwards of an inch potentially. And I cannot stress enough how destructive this level of ice is. Anything above a quarter of an inch can bring branches and whatnot down. Above half an inch, trees will fall, power lines will break. You get upwards of an inch of freezing rain, and that's like I hate to use the word catastrophic, but that's like infrastructure failure. That's like when power lines go down, like big time, widespread power outages. So let's hope, there's a couple hopes. Maybe we don't get that much precipitation, because the models sometimes overdo the amount of precipitation. Maybe the cold air is a little bit deeper and we stay more sleet, and these numbers are way less, and we just get a lot of sleet. Sleet's annoying, sleet's tough to drive in, it's very heavy to shovel, but you can move it out of the way and it doesn't usually cause power outages. So there are some hopes here, but I would prepare for the worst. If we get 3/4 of an inch of freezing rain, you can expect widespread damage, widespread tree damage, vegetation damage, power line damage. I would prepare things outside. If you have weak things outside, like I'm going to go down and we're going to fix the boat stuff later today. I would make sure you are prepared for a power outage that lasts 3 to 4 days. Make sure you have enough food and water, batteries, candles, flashlights, prescriptions. Just make sure you have it all filled and ready to go. Because this could be a long duration event. And like I mentioned, it's going to stay very cold on Monday and Tuesday. Lows down below 10 degrees. And so it's going to be a long haul before this ice, whatever falls, is going to melt. It's not going to be until Wednesday or Thursday. So stay safe. I will have one more video update tomorrow afternoon, when we're right at the doorstep to the event. So you have the rest of today and you have most of tomorrow. But by 5 p.m. tomorrow, I would have everything that you want to do done, because that's when it'll start going downhill. All right, so stay safe, and I will see you all tomorrow with another update.